The Simpsons.
Hello and welcome to Instead of Chewing Gum, Chew Bacon podcast. Hi, I'm Kristen, and I'm welcoming you to a perfectly cromulent podcast with my co-host Jesse. Hi, Jesse.
Yeah, hi.
Thank you for joining us again here this week for some reason.
And that's the truest thing we'll say today.
Hopefully, you have been following us on all our various socials, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and you have been liking and commenting and sharing them with your friends and having a great time doing so.
Here's the thing is I know you guys haven't been doing some of those things. I look at the analytics, but we have room to improve here. You guys have room to improve there. We're all in this together. So I'm really excited and happy to get it going, guys, together. Which means you guys have a job too, together.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Dreamwork makes the dream work too if you're sleeping. Yeah, that works.
That makes sense. Another episode where Kristen can't talk.
Hi, and welcome to Samson's Shasabaso. The Bible Sabatabit Jesse Ababadudu Kristen.
Well. Should we jump in? Because this is a fun episode, I think, because things happen.
Yeah, I would say it's probably one of the more fun filler episodes of the season.
For sure.
Probably the last one. We've talked about it, almost everyone going in here, but this season gets amazing. That this isn't a good one, but this season goes off very quickly here. Plus, we had Homer at the bat last week.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like Homer at the bat, it's like they got to kind of, some of the people were like, can we chill it out for this next week? Because we just did all that stuff with the baseball players.
Actually, I have an idea. Just kidding. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I love that song. It's like,
when we played, just walking around going, well, Mr. Burns had done it. The power plant had won it.
And the recording equipment cut the song off short. It was like, you guys don't get to hear more of the song.
I might have fat fingered the button. I don't know.
No. Blame the technology.
It's technology. I'll sing it for you guys right now. We're talking softball. Maine to San Diego.
I like how you keep stopping, but then you go. You do it for more.
That's how good it is, right? That I literally cannot stop. I'm sorry.
Yes, it's okay. It's good. So today we are going to talk about separate vocations.
I like it. I like this episode.
I was gonna. It was like my mouth didn't want to form words. It's okay. Season 3, episode 18, aired on February 27th, 1992.
Out of February after this.
Yeah, we are, aren't we? Because only got 28 days.
It's a good month.
It was written by George Meyer and directed by Jeffrey Lynch. The chalkboard gag was, I will not barf unless I'm sick. And the couch gag was Bart, like they all sit down on the couch and then Bart lays across them in like the one arm, like holding your head up.
Cool guy pose.
Yeah. Cool guy pose. And the special guest this week is Steve Allen.
That's beautiful.
It is beautiful. Old-timey TV show personality, right?
Exactly. What's funny is I was sitting here writing notes for this episode, and I wrote on the top, I wrote my first note, which is the chalkboard gag, and then I just got wrapped up in the episode and I didn't write anything down for a little while. So for a while, I was just sitting here in front of a note card that said, I will not barf unless I'm sick. Like, well, they're good words to live by, so that's fact.
Here's my question. Do you know who Steve Allen is? Because, like, I kind of know who he is, but...
I believe when we first ran through this episode, I Googled him and recognized his face, but no, I don't believe that I know his work.
So he used to do the Tonight Show. From 1954 to 1957.
His face is so, like, if you see it, his glasses, like, you're like, I know that guy. But
I've seen his face on things or referenced in pop culture things, like his glasses and in this
Yes.
everything. Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, he used to host the Tonight Show, which later like people like David
Before
Letterman and
Carson?
stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Not David Letterman, Jay Leno. That's who I was thinking of, not
Oh, I
David
see. I see.
Letterman. Jay Leno. But yeah, yeah, yeah. So before Johnny Carson, he was the guy.
All
Um,
right.
just so we all know, he also did like he also just as like some more filler information, was a successful author, musician, and political activist. And
Yeah,
he's
it's
remembered as a pioneer of late night TV. So like his show was one of the first like late night like put the kids to bed and come and watch some TV and
right,
type
right,
of like
right.
we're gonna have adult humor on. Like he was one of the
I
first.
think for sure he lands before our time.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know what I mean? Like I'm looking at some of the dates here, and like I know when we were born, and I know when this stuff happened, and they're
Yeah, lots of
definitely
it's like
separate. Yeah,
by the time we're born, he's just like he pops up here
he's
and there
chilling.
and he's in some movies and stuff too, right? Like I know he's in some kind of iconic movies where he does like cameos or little bits and stuff like that too. Like
Well, I'll
he's
tell you what. I'll look that up, and
and then
I'll get it to you.
yeah, just because it's I don't know, it's interesting. It's somebody different and I feel like it's somebody who like as a reference is old enough that like a lot of us don't know a lot about. But we know him, but you don't know him,
Yeah,
like
that's
that
like
type of
precisely
thing.
how I feel.
Yeah, you know him, but you don't know him. Did I forget anything? Nope, I think I said it all. Okay. I'm like, did I mention when this aired and stuff? I for surely did. Um, so in this week in 1992, Eric Clapton had just won a Grammy for the song Tears in Heaven, which is a moving and sad and beautiful song.
Yeah, isn't it about his son dying?
Yeah,
If I'm
when
not
because his son
mistaken.
died, right? And then he wrote
Fell
this
out
song
a
as like a
window or
tribute to
something.
his
Yeah,
yeah, he wrote this song as a tribute to his son. It's a beautiful song. And actually
sad.
it's one of the few songs that makes me tear up when I hear it because it's a really nice song. Um, yeah, the BBC aired the series finale of a show called Causality. I don't know what the show Causality is, so if any of our UK listeners are like, "Wow, Causality, thanks for including that, Kristen."
Yeah,
Um,
that's a Craig question.
tell us. um, and Troll
Craig,
Dolls.
please,
Yeah,
please. Oh,
getting called out. um, and Troll Dolls were selling like hotcakes. Troll Dolls were very, very popular in 1992. It was actually like one of the first years that Troll Dolls really like exploded. It was like it was like everybody needed to
I
own
was a
Troll Dolls.
very poor kid. Um, but
Like I used
I didn't long for much. You know what I mean? Like I understood our plight, and I was happy with the knockoff stuff we had. I made do. The great thing about a troll doll, it was like $4,
yeah, they
in the
were
early 90s. So
expensive.
my parents were like, I'll give you a fucking troll doll. Yeah, fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah,
That's what you want? Okay, that's
the
really
little
weird, but okay.
jewel in their belly
I was
and
just
stuff
gonna say,
too.
dude, so I was so proud of mine because its jewel was a different color than its hair, which was pretty rare.
Got a
So
good one. You got a good one.
uh
So that was what's going on in the world in this week in 1992. Just to like fill out the time for
I
you.
need to get a time machine button, like a little sound, like the Wayback Machine.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be great. As soon as I saw the troll doll thing, actually, do you know what immediately sprung to mind
What's that?
was the King of the Hill episode where Hank builds Bobby a little like shuttered door shelf for his troll doll.
Yeah, yeah. Just
Because
you mean Hank wanted to hide them?
Hank wanted to.
That's
It's the mold episode. It's the episode where there gets mold in
Oh,
the hall in the because of the leak and
so check out our spinoff King of the Hill show in 17 years when we're done with this.
just because sometimes we watch too many cartoons and we both know that we know these cartoons we know that we know King of the Hill and like this and probably a few other ones like Inside Out and we can reference them like that.
Yeah, there's a few. There's certainly a few. I would say like obviously Simpsons is number 1.
Yeah.
South Park probably number 2 for me.
South Park.
Futurama is probably right up there with King of the
Some,
Hill is 3.
yeah, I would say South Park there's certain seasons that are very strong with me.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Um
probably the first 10 seasons of Family Guy too.
yeah, yeah, easily, right? And King of the Hill I mean, I still rewatch King of the Hill sometimes just to hate on some of the episodes. Like, not because I hate the whole episode, just because there are people in the episode where I'm like, why are you such a pain in the ass, Peggy Hill?
You don't like Spot Peggy and Meatballs?
Get out of here.
And you know what's so funny is the old host of this show, Greg, hates Peggy Hill.
I know.
I love that the one thing you guys for sure have in common is your loathing of Peggy Hill.
Peggy Hill.
That like when that parachute didn't open, you guys were so excited.
Yep.
Okay,
Basically,
I'm gonna go off to left field really quick, and then I'll bring it back for us. Causality is a British medical drama following the doctors, nurses, and patients at the Frenetic Accident and Emergency Department set in the fictional Holby City Hospital, located in the fictional county of Wyvern in the southwest of England.
good job.
I'm sure Wyvern is pronounced like Wyvern.
No, you did it fine. You did it fine.
But, you
did it fine. You did it fine.
I'm sorry. I'm having
who's been over there.
flashbacks.
As someone who's been over there, you did it just fine. You're good.
Anytime we covered a British serial killer, I like had nightmares about having to pronounce Edinburgh. Like,
I don't even try.
yeah,
They're like we got our friend Solo who's from Millsboro, and it takes me extra effort to say it like that. I'm like, oh, you're from a place called Middlesbrough, and he's like, no. I'm like, no, that definitely says borough at the end.
Right.
Enunciate
I'm
all the
shitty
letters.
enough to where, like, okay, I knew that there's a borough of New York called Greenwich Village.
Yes.
Totally was aware of that.
Yep.
I didn't know that it was the same borough that spelled Greenwich. I mean, I do now. This is how
But now you know.
to the Northeast. So this is like probably a third of the episode before Greg was like, you could just call it Greenwich. Pretty sure everybody just calls it Greenwich. And I was like, oh, it's the same place? Like, okay. All right, sorry. You guys are learning too much about how dumb I am. Let's talk about how dumb Lisa is.
Yeah, yes, let's do that. I was like, excellent segue. Okay, all right. So separate vocations. I wrote down vacations, and then today, I've had this written for like 5 days or whatever. Today, I realized that that's not an A. It's an O.
There's one in there. I got you.
Also, I couldn't figure out why it was called separate vacations.
Yeah. Like, there's not even a vacation in the whole episode. What the hell?
That's all I could think about. And then I realized, oh no, damn you, Kristen. It's a vocation.
I like it.
So the episode starts off with Hoover and Krabappel announcing to the kids that we're gonna take a test. And of course, we do shift between classrooms and see lovely things in between the floors, like a snake. Because I love that the Simpsons do that. That they like whenever they pan down a floor or like
I do love it.
Through somewhere else. There's always stuff in
we
between.
We did this in Radio Bart, where they were going down. There's like the radio and like the aliens and the dinosaur.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, really quickly, I'm sorry, not to go back. Separate Vocations is a play on the Canadian sex comedy film Separate Vacations. Yes, which I had never heard of until just now when I Googled it.
Sex comedy. I love that it's a sex comedy one.
Yeah.
Also I love that in this, and I forgot to mention it. I don't know why, but right before saying they're going to take a test, Edna's all like, "I have a surprise for you."
Right.
Everybody,
she's so cruel.
And I love it shows what the kids start imagining what the surprise might be. Milhouse imagines a Native American wrestling an alligator.
Yeah, I fucking love it so much.
Either Sherry or Terry, I'm not sure which one it is.
Tell us which one. Commit.
Sherry.
Wrong. No, I'm just kidding.
Imagines a gnome with ice cream dancing and giving her ice cream. I guess it could be an elf, but I'm going to say like,
is it one of the happy little elves, like for that Maggie watches? I think it might be
the TV show that they watch.
I think it is.
Yeah, happy little elf, and he gives her an ice cream cone. And Bart imagines Edna ripping her own face off to reveal an alien, because everyone knows their teachers are aliens, right?
Which is honestly the best of the three imagined scenarios.
Yes. Yes, I think so too.
But that's
So
just like
then
my opinion, man.
and then so then she announces it's a test and ruins everyone's dreams.
Right, right.
And then we so that's Bart found out that there's a test, and then Hoover announces that there's a test, and Lisa's like, "Yay, test!" and gets non-approving looks from her classmates because nobody really likes tests, do they?
No,
Well,
we also get a really sad moment from Edna Krabappel again too, where she's like, "Oh, when your ex-husband is running around on the beach with your wedding therapist or with your marriage therapist."
uh,
Poor Edna.
um, so yeah, they're gonna take a test. Everyone's upset. There was one thing I was trying to look for because I couldn't remember what she says right there.
Is
Oh
it?
yes,
Would
because
you rather be a
Hoover's the one.
carpenter
Because
ant?
Hoover's the one that announces that it's a career aptitude normal. I like this career aptitude normalizing test. Like it's not just a career aptitude test. It's a career aptitude normalizing test.
Yeah.
Or can't.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Which just feels like such a Springfield thing to do, right? Like
Yes.
you're gonna
Yes.
let's predict the kids' futures. They can't do shit.
Yeah. Homemaker.
uh, so yes, and like you said, Edna's sad moment comes there. She's like, here, you can find out what you can be, or you can find out that you might be a glorified babysitter to a bunch of dead-eyed fourth graders while your
Yeah.
husband around them naked and she's bitter lovely Edna.
So
um
brutal.
so then they start reading out the questions. If I was an animal, what would I be?
So
An
good.
ant, a nurse shark, a lawyer bird. I
Yeah.
like how actually, I like that it's carpenter ant,
Yeah. Carpenter
nurse
ant, nurse shark,
shark, lawyer
lawyer bird.
bird, you know? So it's like basically, are you gonna be a carpenter, nurse, or a lawyer?
I'm
Um,
just gonna throw it out there. I don't think a lawyer bird's a thing.
you can look that up while we continue to now what is question 60, because apparently there's a lot of I like how everyone in the school's taking this test apparently too, because third graders are definitely thinking I need to plan for my future. Um, question 60, I prefer the smell of gasoline, French fries, or bank customers. It's like they're aiming really low for these kids. You know what I
Uh,
mean? Like they're like,
oh
we're not going
my
to sugarcoat life
gosh.
for you guys. You're going to either be pumping gas, working at Krusty Burger, or working at the bank. That's your future. I do love it.
At least which of these three would you like the best?
Yeah, yeah. Some kids, I do like that they finish. I like that Lisa's class finishes the test early. Her friend Janie remarks that this is a waste of time, and she's like, "It's not. Everything we do in school is valuable." And then Hoover's like, "We're done 15 minutes early, so please just sit in your desk and stare at the front of the room."
But Lisa does it so intently.
She does. Like staring at the front of the room is one of the most important things that can happen. Then, and I like how dramatic this is. Like two guards come in, armed guards come in, pick up the test results, handcuff them to their wrists so they can't go missing.
Yeah, so they can go to the Iowa Non-International Airport. I will just say, as somebody, so I can't speak for Canadian primary school. When we did standardized testing, it was like this. Like the two guys didn't come into your, but truly the entire school like changed their schedule for the day. We all took a break at the same time, and it was like there were signs that say like nobody was allowed to knock on any classroom
Yeah.
doors. Like it was like for a week the school became a totally different place because it had to be standardized, and it was
Right.
such a fucking big deal that nobody was late. Nobody like
Yeah.
it was a totally like, hey, and then the whole thing was like, it doesn't even matter what you score. We just need to know what you know.
Yeah, yeah. Like I don't think we did them like every year in my school. I think it was like every other year that you got it or something like that. And it was it was the whole school that got evaluated. And I remember at least once or twice when I realized that they weren't testing me because my name was like, because there was one of them where we didn't have to put our names on them or anything that identified us. I guess I think that time they were just evaluating how successful the school students are. And I don't think I listened or read a thing. I think I just filled in randomly on the sheet because
Yeah, like C C C C C C C C C.
I'm not going to say that I was totally like, I'm a slacker and that's okay with me, but I was totally like, I'm a slacker.
Every now and
That's okay
again,
with me.
you're allowed to do that.
Like I just didn't give a shit. I'm okay. Look I had to take band for 2 weeks and, the people in my section couldn't figure out how to play a song, because they couldn't remember the notes for the flute. And my solution was we all learn one note and then we all play, each person take a note. You just keep your fingers on there. And when it's your turn, you play the note. And we didn't tell the teacher what we were doing. She just came to our section and was like, okay, guys, play the song. And we're all supposed to play it together. We did technically play together. Okay. It's just that we each played one note. And we got away with it because she laughed so hard at at the genius of our situation.
Right, right.
She was like, okay, I'm going to give you all B's because you played your notes beautifully, but you're not getting away with it again. I was like,
You did it this time, you meddling kids.
I mean, it was like a 4 or 5 note song. It was nothing. We should have just learned the song, but none of us did. So that was my solution. And I'm a slacker.
Sounds like you're a born leader.
I know, right? That took a lot of creative ingenuity, and I should have gotten marks just for being super creative. Anyway, so they take the test to the National Testing Center, I love this, controlling your destiny since 1925.
So brutal.
I'm on a side note though, because it's like, I'm not gonna lie, watching this as an adult, I remember some stuff from school. Okay. Like I remember the first time I started, like when you're in grade 2 or something like that, maybe even in grade 1, they start asking you, what do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to be when you grow up? And back then, I'm looking at them and I would just be like, I don't know. And I don't think you can tell me because I'm 7.
6. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I'm 6, I'm 7, I'm 8. I think even in grade 5, I said that to a teacher at some point. I'm like, I don't know. I'm 10, man. Like what I want to be when I grow up is probably going to change like 1,000 times.
Cry tomorrow.
Right? Like, and then I remember, I think it was in grade 8, they actually had us do a test that was supposed to tell you what might be a good career for you one day. I'm not going to lie. Like mine's like a dean of like a high school. Like it was like high school dean. I'm like, I do not want to be a principal. Okay. It's not something I want to do. But okay, I remember that one specifically because that was the one that stood out as the weirdest to me. I was like, really? I hate school now.
This is
And you
also
think I'm going to
oddly
come here
specific.
you think I'm going to come here like willingly?
Yeah.
On a daily basis and deal with people like me? And then the other two were something like accounting.
No.
Yeah, I think the other one was like accountant, and the other one was something stupid too. Maybe like not stupid, but like maybe like like therapist or something like that. But like that was like one of the ones that was like way down on the list. Or like, maybe you might have a slight interest in this. But the ones that pegged me for were like accountant. I can't do math worth shit. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to bump my mic. I can't do math worth shit. And dean of a school. I'm like, no, anyways, so wrong.
So what we're saying is rebel, children. You don't need these tests.
You don't. And probably if I took the test again today, they told, I guess the thing is, it's supposed to look through your personality and what would be good for you. And I'm like, what about my personality says I want to be a fucking principal? Like, I didn't answer any questions with, I like bossing around kids.
Yeah.
Oh. But did you guys do something like that, like for career prep and stuff like that? Like find out what your jobs might be?
No. In high school, we had, if you were a junior or senior, you could take a course called Regional Occupation Program, which was basically like to train you in like a specialized career.
Oh, like so if you wanted to be like an electrician or something?
Sort of. So where I'm from is very agriculture heavy. So there was like a lot of that. And some of it would be like ag welding and
yeah.
But they did have things like music theory was one of them. I took environmental science and technology. I used to want to be, I wanted to be a geologist so bad for so long. I wanted to be a rock scientist. So yeah, I took something like that, but you chose. You know what I mean?
You got to choose it. Yeah. I understand. Yeah. No, this was like like, we're going to tell you what you a career you might want to look into. And I'm like, none of these. Actually, I had a few friends that are all like, this is such bullshit. Like when they got their answers, they're like, I'm disappointed that apparently my brain wants that. No, like,
Don't tell me what my brain wants. I'll tell you.
you know. Anyway, so I'm sorry, we got way sidetracked there, but it was a fun sidetrack.
I'm not
Um,
mad.
so at the institute that controls your destiny, they dump all the cards into a machine, and it checks them. And I don't know if these names mean anything, but like what was the first one? Sorry, I forgot. I meant to actually physically write these down, but I forgot to write them down because I was like, are these names that we ever hear again? Just like the other question I had the other day. There's Wesley Smith and Debbie Silver and Lisa Simpson, like and Bart Simpson. But like this, it's telling you the test subject's name as it's going through the machine, right? And I'm like, do we ever hear of Wesley Smith ever again? Like that just became a question
I'm
in my
pretty
head.
sure
This is my new game.
before it zooms in, I kind of caught it. I'm pretty sure it says Jim Reardon. I'm watching it
Oh,
right this second.
yeah.
I'll look it up while you continue, and I'll let you know.
Just because I don't know, this week, like after seeing the names on the test, I became strangely interested in the fact is like, is it always just random made up names or are they names of somebody? Anyway, I like when Bart's card goes into the system and the system starts to break. And of course, the technician for the system is an old man in a rocking chair with a broom. And to fix the big computer that's calculating everyone's futures, all you have to do is hit it with a broom and say the magic words of "Come on, Emma,"
Come on, Emma.
and the machine clearly starts working again.
So, Deborah Peterson, also known as Debbie Silver, is an animator and background designer, and so is Wesley Smith.
See, that's what I was wondering. Those are the Easter eggs I was wondering about,
Yes.
and now I know, and now you know, and now we all know
Those
you
are
never looked it up before.
Those are animators
You know
and
it.
background artists.
That's awesome. I love it. I love that snuck in there. I think it's great. So then we go back to the school where Dr. J. Lauren Pryor, the school psychologist, my school did not have a psychologist. Did your school have a psychologist?
Yeah. Yes.
I think some schools did. I think some schools in my area had them. Mine didn't. Mine did have a school policeman, though. Whatever that says about where I grew up.
We had them too. We called them liaison officers. And
yes.
they dressed in regular clothes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I get you.
Very 21 Jump Street.
Yes. God, I love that show. And he's giving out everybody's scientifically selected careers is what he's doing. Janie gets architect.
I feel like they wanted J. Lauren Pryor to be more of a thing because we see him. We've seen him, I think,
more than once.
2 times before this. Yeah, he's the one who in Bart the Genius. And yeah. So but after this, I can't really think of. I mean, we have a lot of episodes, but
yeah,
like J. Lauren Pryor doesn't stick out as much as they maybe intended for him to initially.
Yeah, because they kind of give him a full name and
they say like,
school.
Hey, he's at the school. Yeah, that's exactly to me why it's like, oh, he's gonna be around.
Is this? I've never paid attention. Is the second kid, the kid with the blonde hair, like the Bart real looking hair? Like if Bart's hair was real,
that's just the shape of his skull.
But I do love that he gets insurance salesman. That's his selected career.
With a speech impediment too. Insurance salesman?
Yep. And Ralph gets salmon gutter.
He seems shocked by it too. Like he's like, come on, Ralph. Let's
Millhouse, because this totally makes sense. Millhouse, military strongman somehow. It makes me wonder what kind of weird answers did Millhouse pick that they peg him as a military strongman? Like, what's going on in Millhouse's brain that they're
I
like,
was gonna say,
you are
when
going
you
to
know
be a
you're taking a
killer.
personality test and you can kind of see which way the questions are going, you're like, oh, okay. I like.
Yeah. And you're like, I'm going to answer like this because that's going to get me the coolest shit.
I would say it's definitely less on a personality test, but more on like, like there was an era on the internet when
Oh,
which
all the
this
quizzes.
character are you or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And I was like,
Yeah.
I clearly want to be Jack Skellington, so I'm gonna answer these questions
It's like,
appropriately.
I love ghost dogs.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I
How do I
am a
feel about
skeleton.
women who can take their hands off? Love them.
Mhm.
um, then you get Martin in there, and Martin's hoping for system analyst. He's sitting there, fingers crossed and everything. System analyst, system analyst. Okay. So I have to bring something up really quickly. I know I keep bringing things up, but I was looking around for some stuff, like random stuff for The Simpsons, and there's a whole Reddit out there that's just about these front shots of The Simpsons.
Front facing Simpsons.
Yeah, front facing Simpsons.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
Um,
It's not from this episode, but
no.
I got
Oh, oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. We'll make sure to make a clip
my
of
first
that.
Martin Prince toy.
Oh, is it? It's
Yeah.
such a pretty one. He's very wearing a
Yeah.
lovely dress.
Yes.
I like it. I love it. Martin's hoping for system analyst, and he does, by gosh, by golly, get system analyst. And then we come to Lisa, and Lisa gets homemaker. And I love that he explained, like she says it like homemaker, like she's shocked. She's not like she's not asking what a homemaker is. She's shocked that that's what she got. And I love that right away. He's like, it's like a mommy. Like she doesn't understand what homemaker means. Um,
But
and Bart,
it is concerning though, right? Like it feels like Milhouse almost certainly knew what the test was because normally he would not come with. And Martin obviously knew what his answer was going to be.
he's
But then
like,
it comes to
he's
Lisa,
like
and she's like expecting something good, and
homemaker. I mean, I feel like too, like what I wanted. Okay, part of me would really like to see the actual test. Like if somebody wrote it out for this episode, like actually wrote it out, and then they just picked out some funny bits. I would love to see what it was and how you would get to homemaker. Not that I'm saying like you can't become a homemaker or like that couldn't be someone's perfect vocation. I just don't see Lisa being like, I want to have kids, sweep the floor, and make food for everyone all day. Like I don't see that in her
my guess
personality.
is that at no point anywhere where this test was being given was homemaker you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's my hope for it, at least. And again, we're probably getting a little bit off topic here, but that's we got to stop applying real world logic to Simpsons episodes. But I can't, damn it.
I can't. No, but actually, I just thought of something, and my other thought now is too that like maybe if she's like, okay, so this is like supposed to be pointing you towards a career, and I understand that military strongman apparently is a testable career choice, but like I'm guessing that like if her answers are all skewing towards being creative, like jazz, and like oh, she's smart and she's creative, but she doesn't seem to have any like working at a gas station or like like interests that are like more tangible, let's put it that way. Maybe the system that's called can't points you towards homemaker. That would to me that would make sense, you know what I mean? Like if you're not going to like give us answers that give you a job that's like a doing job, system analyst, police officer, like Bart's about to get, maybe it just points you towards a career that's like, yeah, you think you're going to go to art school and make money. No. So you will be a homemaker. You get what I'm saying now, right? Like,
Yeah.
like you want to do a creative job? No. So you'll be a homemaker. Because it's called, remember the test is called can't, right?
True. We should have known. We should have always known.
And Bart gets police officer, to which he says, well, I'll be jiggered. I do love that right away he's offered a ride along with a police car, and he's like, I don't need you to get me in the back of a police car. And I'm already thinking, like, every time I watch this episode, but like this time particularly, I'm like, are we really assuming that Bart has not been in the police car yet? He's not been taken home by the police? Because
we've seen the record.
yeah, like,
he toys.
Yeah, he spray paints on things. He goes places he's not supposed to. I do
Whoa, whoa,
love
whoa.
though.
That's El Barto. I don't think that we can blame Bart Simpson for that.
I'm sure. I also love that the psychologist says it was a surprise to me too because I pegged you as a drifter, and Bart actually loves the idea
Yeah,
of being a
he's
drifter.
like, damn sheriff running me out of town, smoking a cigarette, getting splashed by cars driving by. He's got like a rope belt.
Yeah, he's so happy. And then that night at dinner, Bart and Lisa are telling their parents what they're going to be. Lisa says is very disappointed when she's telling her parents that she got pegged to be a a homemaker. And right away, Marge looks kind of upset when she says that. I noticed, like when she's like a homemaker, I might as well be dead. Like Marge kind of looks like that hit a little
That could
harder
be a
than
little offensive if you're sitting there as a homemaker and
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Bart stares that he got pegged to be a policeman and that like he's going to go on a ride along or whatever. And Marge points out that your father wanted to be a policeman, but they said he was too fat. And he's like, no, it was the army that said I was too fat or whatever. I can't remember. Now,
Yeah,
but
that's
something
right.
along
The
those
army
lines.
said I was too fat. The police said my it was like I something about his mental. It's,
Yeah, like I'm too dumb or something like
yeah,
that.
I'll
And all
get
I
you.
could think,
That might have been it.
yeah. Um,
No, the army said I was too heavy. The police said I was too dumb. That's
yes,
what it is.
yes. And I always laugh because, like, come on, Springfield Police, Chief Wiggum.
Yeah. Again,
Okay,
come away, toys.
yeah. Anyways, Lisa goes on to tell how her perfect life was going to be with her being a blues musician, and nobody would appreciate her in her time. She was going to have several torrid love affairs and die too young. Um,
So good.
of course, Homer interjects here because nobody wants to follow in his footsteps, and he's a little upset by that. He's the leader of the family. Nobody wants to work in the nuclear
Right.
power plant.
Come on.
Marge reassures Lisa she can be anything she wants to be. So Marge takes her to the Ludwig music school to get like evaluated, right? Like just to show her, hey, you can play jazz.
We
And
believe in you.
yeah, and she goes and she's playing some jazz for an instructor there. And it's great. And he seems like he's really into it until he's like, okay, yeah, that was fine. But you've got stubby fingers, so you'll never be a musician. Usually inherited from your dad.
Brutal.
Um, so he's decided that just because she's got stubbiness that she can't do it. I do love when they say usually inherited from your dad. They show Homer trying to drink a beer and him fumbling with his fingers and dropping the beer because they're stupid stubby fingers. So yeah, so then Lisa is also like blues comes from in her heart, in your body, in your soul. It doesn't come from your stupid fingers. And and then after that, we see
They are
Lou
kind
and
of stubby, though.
we see Lou and Eddie go pick up Bart to take him for his um police ride along. I love
Yeah.
that they show the lady from across the street and she's like, it's
About
about time.
I love that Homer has a spool of stolen wire, too. A stolen
Copper
copper
wire too.
wire, yeah.
That's most expensive.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm from a meth town, so I'm aware of the copper wire value.
Um so they start their night off and like apparently Bart's doing like a full on nighttime ride along, not even like a daytime one. It's a full
Right.
time.
It is a very
Like
well.
that
They're
seems like
gonna
an
do some
interesting.
unorthodox stuff later, so
Yeah. I I like when he like Bart starts asking them questions and he's like, so what can you do as a cop type of thing? And he's like, being a cop's great. Lou's like, being a cop's great. You get to red lights, park wherever you please. You know, hot and cold running chicks.
yeah, I do like the drive by the Quickie Mart too.
Yeah. So they drive by the Who's to Know motel where Mayor Quimby's polling the electorate,
Oh
the
yeah,
voters,
yeah. Oh my
right?
gosh.
And he says polling the electorate, and it cuts to Quimby in the hotel drinking champagne with a lovely young. Is that the belly dancer?
I don't think so.
It just looks reminiscent of her because it looks
Possibly,
reminiscent of
yeah.
her.
Let
Anyway,
me look back.
he and asking her, "How would you like a street named after you?" Very smooth, very smooth. Uh, and and they drive by Sideshow Mel walking his. I think that must be an Afghan dog. I'm gonna guess. And rollerblading, and they remark that the freaks only come out at night. The stuff you see at nighttime. And then back at home, Lisa's having a hard time, and she's decided she's going to end with like a final entry into her journal, because it was a journal of her hopes and dreams, and now she has none. That's so depressing. She's like 8. She should have hopes and dreams. But anyways, she's not going to journal anymore because she has no dreams anymore, because she can't be a jazz musician because she got stubby fingers.
Poor Lisa.
So then, meanwhile, Bart and them are driving by the Quickie Mart, which is getting held up. Yeah. And I love that the Quickie Mart's getting held up, and they're not looking anywhere towards the Quickie Mart. Quick note: a case of beer, which looks like it says it's for the 5-ounce cans, is I guess $12.95 a case. I thought that said a 2 for a minute, and I thought, no, that's the window. Nope, that's the window. Definitely says $2.95 a case, right? Yep, definitely says $2.95 a case, because that's the glare from the window. The other thing that I thought was a 1 for a second. $2.95 a case. Go drink Duff beer, boys.
What a deal!
That's a huge. Like, even if you don't drink beer, probably cheaper than water. Let's be like if you're buying bottled water, that's cheaper than water.
And there's plenty of water in it. Also, really quickly, Mayor Quimby's license plate says, "I rule you."
I forgot about that. You know what? I knew that, and I think I wrote it down too, and I did not even mention it.
I
forgot to turn my page over, and I'm going to turn it over now so I don't forget.
It's like I almost get to watch it in more detail, like when I sit here watching it as you're talking. So in your episodes, it's like I feel like I'm almost more in depth in the episodes within their mind.
Yeah, I totally get you, because you're scanning for different things, right? So they drive right past the Quickie Mart getting held up, and Bart, in his way being eager way, is like, "Let's go shoot some bad guys." And I love that they're like, it's not like a big McBain movie. I do love that that the Simpsons are so entrenched in their own universe that they don't even use like real life. Like, because some places would use like, this is an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie.
Right.
They stick with this. This isn't a McBain movie.
Exactly.
And so while they're driving, it's what's his face? Oh my God, I'm blanking on his name. Snake. Thank you. I wanted to say Jake for a minute. I'm like, it's not Jake.
Yeah. License plate, eggplant, Xerxes, crybaby, overbite, narwhal.
Ex-con drives by, and in his car he's got a bunch of lotto tickets and some money that he stole from the Quickie Mart, and the police give chase. I love that I also, just quick note, I love that, what's his car called? Little Bandit? Is it called Little Bandit?
I think so.
Yeah. I love that the gas pedal is in the shape of a foot. Like, it's like the
purple foot. Yeah.
The purple foot gas pedal. I love it. So they start chasing him down the road. I love the little cut to Apu too, where he's realizing that the robber this time used nylon ropes, and that how he really
feels
likes
so soft against the skin.
He's so happy that it's nylon rope, almost sensuous. Meanwhile, back to the car chase, their hubcaps are flying and they're bouncing down the road, and it's a full-on car chase.
Confirmed Lil Bandit.
Thank you. And they almost hit some cars. I love the car. So as they almost hit some cars, the car swerves around them and into a milk truck, which instantly bursts into flames like milk is made out of gasoline.
In Springfield, it may be.
In Springfield, maybe. And this is one of my favorite parts of the whole episode. This part here, where they corner Snake, and they get out of their car to go and confront him, right? Like they think they've got him cornered in a parking lot, and they get out to go and confront him with their guns, and they don't have backup, so they give Bart a gun.
Yeah, like this goes against every law or something like that, right?
This goes against all the regulations and stuff.
Yeah,
and right after they give Bart the gun and they clear away from Bart, Snake sees Bart and just starts driving towards him at like full speed. And Bart tries to shoot him, but it doesn't work. And I love that Snake also yells, "Haha, I see you in hell, punk." And then it goes to a commercial break, really, in real life. And it says, I love that. I love that though. It says to be continued, and it
Right.
goes to commercial break. And then Act 2, Death drives a stick. And I love that it gives it. Anyways, in typical Simpsons fashion, buildings aren't built right or straight or whatever, and the alley that he's driving towards Bart in gets narrower and narrower and narrower and crushes the car, leaving Bart safe. Meanwhile, helicopters and more police cars pull up, and uh, all that stuff. I do.
Snake's been thrown through the windshield.
Yes, and I do like that. Although he's unconscious, Chief Wiggum tough talks him, picks up the lottery tickets, and says, "Looks like you just bought yourself a lotto ticket to hell or to jail, not to hell, to jail."
Yeah.
Um,
He's unconscious, sir.
yeah, yeah,
Oh, they can still hear things.
yes. um, and you know this just makes Bart happy. Bart gets made honorary police officer, and Eddie is told to give him your badge, Eddie. um, So then we go to the morning, and Lisa's getting up, and she's really depressed. And she's just like, you know, life's not worth living if I'm going to be a homemaker, because like, what's good about the morning if I'm stuck at home? And I love that Marge tries to cheer her up by being like, look, being a homemaker is not that bad. I made this lovely breakfast for you and the boys, and I made them into smiley faces. You get
Little
to be
parsley
artistic.
nose.
Yeah. And she's like, what's the point? They won't even notice. And the guys come in, scarf down their food so quickly, they do not notice.
Yeah, Lisa and Marge just lock eyes, so just horrified.
Right? Uh, Bart is all gung ho about being a cop. He's fingerprinting Maggie. Um, Walks in and saves the dog from being wrongly accused for eating chocolate cake, because it was not the dog. Bart apparently had the cake under surveillance, and it proves it was Homer. Only in his surveillance pictures, there's also a picture of him taking a picture of his butt.
I do not know how that got in there.
uh, Meanwhile, Lisa's decided that she's not going to go to band practice anymore, because what's the point, you know? And this is where she starts developing her bad girl, like her saucy, sassy bad girl attitude,
We're
because she's
starting to
like,
see
what's
the
the point?
flip of she and Bart.
Yes, yes. And this is I love we get a little like Marge memory here, because apparently when Marge was a little girl, she wanted to be an astronaut, and her sisters made fun of her. And you know, they were like, what do you want to be? Because she makes a so those of you don't know or don't remember, she makes a helmet, like an astronaut helmet out of an oatmeal box, you know, because she's made herself a spaceship, and she's a very happy little Marge. And the sisters come in, and they're all like, oh, what do you, the little girl on the oatmeal box? And she's like, no, I'm going to be an astronaut. And she's all excited to, you know. And then, of course, the sisters inform her that women can't be astronauts because they distract the men astronauts too
Yeah.
much.
Oh my God.
And she's like, and there will be women astronauts, and, you know,
I
there'll
think
be cities on the moon.
she says they distracted the men astronauts so they couldn't keep their eyes on the road.
Yeah. um, and then she points out to Lisa that she was right. There are women astronauts, except for about, you know, the cities on the moon, because there are no cities on the moon. So she was wrong about that
Yeet.
part, but she's right about the other one. Yeah, yeah. Um, so they go to school, and Janie's trying to get Lisa to help her study, like quiz me on the alphabet, and Lisa's like, nope, she's about done with everything of all this. And they walk by the bad girl bathroom, and when a puff of smoke comes out, Lisa stops and turn around, and she goes into the bad girl bathroom. You know, she's like, that's it. I'm gonna be a bad girl. So she goes in there, and there's two bad girls in there, obviously, you know, smoking, because that's what you do in elementary school bathrooms.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
kids
Yeah.
smoking. And this is when she tells I didn't know. Yeah, yeah. This is when she's like, if you really like, because the older girls are trying to get rid of her, because they're like, they recognize that she's too young to be in the bad girl bathroom, right? Like
Yeah,
she
there's a
shouldn't.
sign on the door that said "Stay the hell out." Anyway.
Yeah. And she says, but wait, I've got an idea. Like Lisa stops them, and it's like, she's like, you can, if you really want to make them all, like, make Skinner mad and stuff like that, because obviously they're bad girls and they want to do bad girl things.
Yeah, you could
And
tell by their hair.
you can, and the fact that they're smoking in the bathroom. Um, and then so after Lisa's like, we can attack the one thing he loves the most, and cut to the puma for the school's mascot puma
Who
covered
would
in,
hurt a helpless puma?
I know, covered in eggs and toilet paper and stuff, and Skinner's very upset, and we know who did that. It was
Yeah.
them bad girls and Lisa. It was them bad girls. Um, and Skinner decides the no good nicks rule the school. Um, and
For a takeover.
as he hears that, as he's thinking this, he hears Willie screaming from outside and sees Willie being arrested. And it's Bart that's leading the arrest, right? Like Bart's the one who called it in. Eddie and Lou show up and arrest him, and apparently is making friends because now Willie is like, "I'll get you, Bart Simpson," because everybody wants to get Bart Simpson when he gets them arrested. Part of me kind of wishes they made that into like a Sideshow Mel thing where Willie just kept trying to kill Bart after that. Skinner comes out. What's this all about? And he's like, really quite simple. I observed our friend groundskeeper Willie burning leaves with a disregard for our clean air laws. And of course, Skinner is like, "Oh my God, you're being a good kid." And he's like, "Hell yeah, I am." He doesn't say "Hell yeah, I am." I'm putting it that way, but it's not being a good kid that Bart loves. It's the feeling of authority. And
Right. For the
so,
first time in my life, I got power, and I love it. Yeah.
So then Skinner recruits Bart to be the hall monitor at the school, and this is where the Steve Allen voice comes into the thing. Bart pictures himself in court, giving testimony against some mobsters, and his voice has been disguised with the voice of Steve Allen.
I'm so stupid. It literally says witness voice altered to sound like Steve Allen.
Steve Allen, but it's actually his voice, right? Like, I think sometimes when you see that, you don't believe it's the person,
Right.
really the person. It's like this person was made to sound like Arnold Schwarzenegger, so you think it's some horrible ripoff voice, but it's not. It's actually Steve Allen, and so Bart likes this, and he thinks it's awesome. So of course he agrees to be even though the mobster is like, "I'm gonna kill you, kid," because Bart's testimony is gonna put him in jail. Bart still wants to do it, and then you get. I love Bart as a hall monitor. I'm not gonna lie, like the scene where he's in the hall and catches the skateboard with his foot, and he's got
he's smooth.
he's got the aviator sunglasses on and everything, right? And he's just like, "Not in my hallway," and he's he's walking around, he's taking care of business. He's watching how much water people drink and tell them to move along and keep the line going. When the bullies are picking on Millhouse and giving him doing the pink belly, he's all like, "That belly is pink enough, you can stop now," and stuff. And he's
You've got
doing
yourself
the
a
good work.
narc.
Yeah, he's doing the good work. And then we go back home to the Simpsons, where Marge discovers that this authority thing is good for Bart. His grades are a little bit up, but Lisa's are a bit down. And Homer's all like, "Why do we always have one good kid and one bad kid?" And Marge is like, "But we have 3 kids." And Homer says, "The dog doesn't count as a kid, Marge." Cut away back to school where Hoover's trying to get the kids to do some craft work, like that's the stuff you do in grade 2 or whatever, right? Yeah, in grade 2. And Ralph's eating the paste and stuff like that. Like Hoover's looking around to make sure everyone's doing it.
It's not the first or the last time we'll see Ralph do that.
Yeah. And Lisa's kind of sitting there looking disinterested. And Miss Hoover's like, "You're not sprinkling your sparkles, Lisa." And Lisa looks at Hoover and says, "Shove it." Like, it's not good. uh, so Lisa goes and has a meeting with Skinner where he asks, like, "What are you rebelling against?" And she's like, "What do you got?"
Yeah.
She's a total bad girl now. News of the new bad girl Lisa has reached the bad girl bathroom, right? Of course, they find out that Lisa told Hoover to shove it, and she gets the bad girl approval where they're like, "I'm impressed."
Yeah,
Like,
she's getting street cred.
Yeah, and like they're all like the one girl's all like, when I was a kid, when I was in grade two or whatever, I was all like, oh, goody goody and all this stuff. So I'm proud of you. And then immediately offers Lisa, and this is not the first time Lisa gets offered to smoke. I just thought, or this is the first time she gets offered to smoke, but not the last time she gets offered to smoke because when she's a ballerina, she also gets offered.
Yeah,
Anyways, she offers her a Laramie Jr. for kids. And Lisa doesn't want to smoke it, but puts it behind her ear and says, I'll smoke it in class. Cause,
yeah. What a
and the girls are like,
badass.
whoa, you know, um, Bart and Skinner have a meeting where Skinner's really happy. The school feels safe. And he's not, nobody's afraid to sneeze and this is right and that's right. And he takes Bart as a reward to the seized property room where Bart gets to where it has everything that any teacher has ever confiscated is in this room, from cracked magazines to mad magazines to bags that just say evidence on them. Um, oh, there's a crazy magazine too. You can
Yeah,
see things. You can see
that's
things like spray paint and
it's
slingshots.
strange thing I noticed
Yeah.
on the Mad magazine. It says Beauty and the Blech, BLECCH. And
Yeah.
on the Crazy magazine, there's an advertisement for Star Blech 6.
Oh. Oh. There's also a fake buttocks with a big kiss on the kisses on the cheeks or something. It looks like I don't know. Anyway, Skinner tells him to help himself to anything, and Bart looks around and at first and the first thing he picks up is a crossbow, and he's told to be careful with it. And Bart's like, I will. And then we have a montage. I love this montage. Uh, of the days of the week, right? And it's still like school newspaper, the fourth grade gradient, food fight foiled, fish stick seized. And it's got like obviously Bart stopped it, and it's got Bart investigating things like proving that a note wasn't signed by Nelson's mother. It was signed by Nelson because the loops on the D's are identical and stuff like that. And I love that Skinner's like, so she didn't have leprosy. Why would you pick leprosy? And then, of course, now the school is so safe that Mr. Glasscock can come back and work without fear of being
Yeah,
ridiculed.
that's so funny. Hey, really quickly, Black, BLECCH, that I just noticed there. It is also the episode. There's an episode called New Kids on the Black in the 12th season, and that's the Yvonne et
Oh,
Niage boy band
yes.
episode. So I still don't know really what the word
Let
means, but
me
The
Sorry.
Simpsons, yeah, that's no, don't. In Sync is in that episode for shit's sake. Um, I don't know what the word means, but it's used in The Simpsons. Like it was just used twice in a visual gag, and
Yeah,
here
and
I didn't
there too.
realize that was what that episode was called.
It
Sorry.
it carries on. No, it's a good one. It carries on, right? It
Yeah.
carries on. Um,
Color me
so
curious.
yeah, so Bart's the king of the school, right? Like he's the authority to the point where he even arrests Millhouse for doing a spitball at the bullies because the bullies aren't bullying people anymore, right? Because Bart's in that magic place in the school hierarchy where like bullies might pick on him once in a while, but they are not his main, like they don't actually want to get Bart most of the time because Bart's kind of cool, right? So like he's in that spot that if he was the hall monitor, he could probably like because he lets them give people pink bellies. Just when it's pink enough, he stops them. He cuts them some
Yeah,
slack.
yeah.
You know,
Like that's what
there's
all good
order.
prison guards do, right? Like let the prisoners
I
get
would
away
have
with a little
a
bit.
little bit. You let him get away with a little bit, and that stops him from doing big things. Um, so when Millhouse is trying to demonstrate how safe the school is, he does a spitball at one of the bullies, to which they immediately call in Bart. Bart hauls away Millhouse, and Millhouse is all like, "We might have, order, but is it law or whatever?" Implying that this is not freedom, it's not right, it's
Right.
wrong, right? And then Lisa's in class getting a quiz, or like, well, I guess Miss Hoover's probably just talking to people, and she's like, asked Lisa like whose nickname was Old Hickory, I think is what it says, and Lisa's like, I don't know, do you? Yeah, and all the kids laugh, and of course, Hoover has the teacher's edition, which obviously has the answer keys in it. So of course she does. The answer is the Battle of New Orleans. Nope, Andrew Jackson. And I love that because it totally gives away that she doesn't know the answer. She's just reading it from the book. And Lisa doesn't stop there either. She's like, well, you're earning your 18 grand a year. By the way, if she's earning 18 grand as a year as a teacher in 1992, she's grossly underpaid because the average wage for a teacher in 1992 was 30 to 35 grand a year. So Springfield, pay your teachers more. Just gonna throw that out there. I'm sorry. I looked up lots of weird things this episode. I'm sorry. Um,
No, no need to be sorry.
Um, so Lisa just taunting Miss Hoover all the way, also showing that she's actually kind of smart, right? Like everybody knows she's smart. And then Lisa's got detention and she's got to do the whole like cleaning the chalkboard erasers, right? Smashing them together and stuff. And she's talking to herself. And she realizes that the best thing she could do is steal the teacher's editions because then the teachers don't know the answers because they don't actually know them. They don't actually know them. They read them from the back of the book.
Andrew Jackson.
So Lisa goes from classroom to classroom, stealing all of the teacher's editions and puts them in her locker. And she did the business because her locker is totally 100% full from like every class.
Yeah.
And then we go to a cut scene of inside the teacher's lounge where all the teachers are smoking heavily and really, really
Panic
worried.
has set in.
Yeah. And they're talking about how all the teachers' editions have been stolen, all of them, and they're all like, declare a snow day, get us out of here. And Skinner points out not to let the children know that anything's wrong because they can smell fear. And I love this part because he goes over to the window and like bends down the blinds a little bit, and all the kids are just staring straight at him.
Yeah,
and I just love that.
Smell fear.
Yeah. Back in class, now the class is back in session after lunch or whatever. Krabappel decides that Marvin will teach the class, or Martin, not Marvin. Martin will teach the class the rest of the day, even though that's a little unorthodox. We go to another classroom, which is the hippie teacher, which I don't know the hippie teacher's name. I've seen him before, and I think you see him once in a while, but it's the hippie teacher guy. And he's all like, have I ever told you guys about the 60s? I don't even know if he has a name, but whatever. And then cut to Hoover, and poor Hoover. I always feel like she's the one that's having like a mental breakdown every time something happens to where she just runs away. But all the kids are yelling at her, and they're trying to hand her papers and stuff. And she's just like, I've got to get out of here. And she runs out of the room where you hear her say a thing that I know is burnt into my brain because it became a verbal meme, if you will, amongst all me and my friends, which is calm blue ocean, calm blue ocean.
His name is Mr. Hippie.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yep. Nice. I love it. So Miss Hoover is having a mental breakdown and trying to calm herself by saying calm blue ocean. And of course, in the 90s, phrases like that were very popular in all the self-help books, right? Like, just say this to yourself until you're calm. Like,
yeah, right. Woo-sa, woo-sa.
Yeah, it was totally a movement and totally a thing. Poor Mr. Glasscock. He's take a break.
All hell is broken loose.
Yeah, he's gonna have to leave school again. He can't do that. And of course, Skinner is all like, the police have like, Bart now is in a place where he gets to use the principal's bathroom. He doesn't have to use other bathrooms anymore. And he comes out of there, and Skinner is like, the police can't find the teacher's editions, and all the police are standing outside the old Springfield library where they're breaking down the door with a tank and stuff. And Skinner's about to call, I think, the superintendent or something like that, because he realizes that the world is going to hell. And Bart stops him and says, I bet you these books are still in the school. Because, Bart knows his shit.
He's a damn
right?
fine detective.
Well, and he used to be the bad kid. So, of course, he knows that, like, he knows. And I love that before they go searching for the books, like, in between the office and the book scene, they do the, like, Batman transition. It's a Batman transition, except with Bart's face instead of the bat symbol. And it's one of my favorite moments in all of Simpsons.
My favorite is right leading into that. Bart's like, we just have to check every locker. And he's like, I don't think we could check every locker according to the Supreme Court. And Bart's like, Supreme Court. And it's that totally convinced Skinner's like, let's roll.
Let's roll.
And that's
So they start checking lockers. They're going through all the lockers one by one. They find, I like that there's a locker full of cash,
right.
a giant
Nothing
panda
here.
bear.
Bart's so honest too. He just leaves it all.
Yeah, he does. He does. And and Lisa spots them getting closer and they're like closing in on her, one on each side, getting closer and closer to her locker, right? Um, and I can't remember what music it's playing at this point, but it's like I think it's like dun 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 dun, dun type of music, right? Like Beverly Hills Copy
Yeah,
feeling
I
vibes.
unmuted it right now. It's definitely just like a rip on Beverly Hills Cop for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And finally Bart gets to Lisa's locker and doesn't realize. I like the reveal here because he doesn't realize it's Lisa's locker right away until he starts taking the books out of the locker and sees the picture of him and the family in the
Yeah.
locker, and that's when he knows it's Lisa. And then Lisa shows up and goes, "That's right, it was me, or it was I." She says, "It was I." Um, and I like that she's like, he's like, "Why'd you do it?" And then she goes into a thing where she's like, "In your pre-fascist days."
Yes. Yes.
In
Oh
your
man.
pre-fascist days, you used to rebel. Um, Anyways, the books are all out of the locker now, and Skinner sees them on the floor, and he's really happy. Tells Bart that he just saved the school $120. Apparently, that's all the books cost is $120.
Hey, that could have
And
broke Springfield Elementary.
right, and he asks who did it, and Lisa's there, and she's kind of ready to say it's her, and Bart jumps in front of her and says it was him. He did it. Um, so and I like that part. This isn't. I don't think this is the first time Bart saves Lisa, and it definitely won't be the last because when he has to step in and be a big brother, he totally does
Yeah,
every
he might go
time.
too far even sometimes.
Yeah, every time. Um, so back in Skinner's office, Skinner, of course, is just like, "Oh yeah, I should have figured it was you. That makes total sense that you would do it. I shouldn't have been blind to what was going on." Basically, it's just like you masterminded this the whole time. You know what I mean? And decides that he's going to punish Bart by giving him detention. And of course, Bart turns back into Bratty Bart, and when he's like, "How about 400 days of detention?" Bart's like, "I can do 400 standing on my head. What about 500 days of detention?" I think they get to 600 days of detention. Um, Milhouse is the new fascist now, I guess, because Milhouse comes in as the hall monitor and drags Bart
I don't
away.
think Millhouse has what it takes to be a fascist.
No, I don't think so either. Um, uh, Lisa wonders why Bart would do that for her, and he's like, "Because you got the brains and the talent, basically. When we're adults, can you please lend me money?"
Not bad.
To which we cut to a second chalkboard gag in the episode of Bart writing lines on a chalkboard where it says, "I will not expose the ignorance of the faculty." And Lisa's outside playing her saxophone for him, like near the window. And Bart's happy, tells her it sounds good, Lise. And we start to pull away, showing them kind of together because she's playing right outside the window, like where
Yeah,
he's
she's
doing it.
hanging
Like
out, playing him some
there.
music for detention.
Yeah, and that's the end. That's it.
Yeah. What an episode.
Who was our character bio for this episode?
That's a great question, Kristen.
I just
Let me
I
get
just
this
wonder.
incredibly hefty book, Simpsons World, The Ultimate Simpsons Guide, Seasons 1 through 20. It's not like I give you the whole name proper every single episode, everybody. But
In
hey,
case you forgot from last
hey,
time.
listen, if we're going to use them in reference. By the way, this book, as it gets further away, it's like I always say, like, this book was not very expensive when I got it, but I forgot that I bought it like 15 years ago. But if you're a
Yeah.
Simpsons fan, like, this is a totally, like, such a good, I would say coffee table book, but it legitimately weighs like 12 pounds.
You can make a coffee table out of it.
It is here, you know what? I'll share this, and maybe if you make a clip out of this, Kristen,
Yeah,
that'd
I
be
can make a
cool.
clip
If
out of
not,
it.
no big deal.
No,
But
I can.
every single episode has a spread like this. So there's kind of like did you notices and things you probably didn't catch, and just so you got you getting your preview there for your character bio is. There's a character bio. There's just the good quotes from the episodes, and then all of the credit information. So if you're doing a show like ours, you get the chalkboard gags, the production codes, and all that cool stuff. So it's a great book. I couldn't tell you what it costs now, but if you can find one for a decent price on eBay, I'd say shoot your shot. It's fantastic. If you're a fan of The Simpsons, it's the first 20 seasons too. So
it's a lot. It's a good chunk.
For you jump the shark people, you'll go through the first half, and then you don't have to go to the second half. It's fine. Today's character bio are Lou and Eddie. Their occupation.
I like how they're a character bio together.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's quite there. I mean, you get 20 seasons. I think there are a few. It's funny. I opened it up and I got to Sherry and Terry somewhere down the line. So the next one I opened up to was 2. They are 2 of Springfield's finest. Favorite on-duty beverage, beer.
Yep.
Favorite non-monetary bribe, beer. Talents, abusing power and intimidating suspects. Weaknesses, solving crimes and keeping the peace. That's their weaknesses. Unintelligible joy, hot and cold running chicks. Biggest fans, Chief Wiggum and Bart. And the quote is, "That's enough out of you, smart guy." They are kind of they will kind of railroad you a little, like they did to Steve Sachs.
Oh yeah,
New York,
yeah,
huh?
yeah.
I heard there was a murder in New York, and it's still unsolved. All right, you want a trivia?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready.
We get a Simpsons trivia box here. Which U.S. president did Burns' mother have an affair with? As a non-U.S. resident, Kristen, this should be totally easy.
I'm sorry. It's like I know the reference. Like I know when they mentioned it. I'm just scared that I'm going to say the wrong thing. It's not Coolidge, is it? No, it's older than that, isn't it? I'm not sure. Okay, can I have multiple choice?
There is no multiple choice on this.
Damn it. Okay, I don't know it. I give.
It is William Howard Taft.
Taft. Oh.
Yeah. Which would have been 09 to 13.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
That is pretty old.
Even
for if it was mentioned in season 1. That would
have
been 80 years prior. So
I know it was like an older one, but I couldn't remember.
Yeah. That's okay. That was a tough one. And you've
on a tough
for
one.
like 7 episodes in a row you have not missed. So
that was one of the ones where it's like that's the biggest miss I've done.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you have a question that's like, which prime minister, like, I'm not.
You're not gonna get it, right?
No, I'm 100% not. I'm gonna be like, was their last name Trudeau? And you're like, no. I'm like, then I don't know anymore. I know there's 2 of those. I'm sorry, I'm not cultured.
I know.
Well, we Simpsons. That's what brings us together. Damn it, it's the Simpsons. I don't need anything else. We don't need geopolitics. Damn it.
No.
In fact, I want to avoid them as much as possible. Giant meteor 2028. Let's go, baby.
Okay. And so are you ready to rate? Like, do you have some thoughts and some feelings about this episode?
Yeah. I would say no strong thoughts or feelings. I think it was, what I'm going to call the last of the filler episodes. I think it's fine. It shows you kind of get that, like you were talking about, that Bart will step in and be the good big brother when necessary. Yeah. Like, what does it behoove him to see Lisa walk the same path as him? Even with his newfound power, he knows he's going to slip again soon at some point. So it might as well be to save his sister. Right? Yeah. It's nice. It's nice. For a filler episode, I think I scored it a little high. I gave it a even 3.
Get out of my brain, because I was gonna say even 3 for me too. Sorry, I just got really excited.
No,
I was
it's fine. And probably for a lot of the same reasons, I imagine.
Well, I think it's definitely a nice episode. I do remember Bart being a hall monitor was like an image I saw on a few things, like specifically the part where he catches the
I
skateboard
was
with
gonna
his
say
foot.
the
I,
foot out in front of the skateboard.
yeah, and I remember that being on a few and images on a few things, like I think maybe some Simpson calendars and like in some magazines or whatever. I think one thing I just want to remind everybody about, like if you're very much younger than some of us and you weren't here in the 90s when the Simpsons were really just taking off a like a freight train, um they were in like magazines like People and Time and like they were such a phenomenon that they were just literally like you couldn't turn a corner without seeing something with a Simpsons face on it, I
And
feel like
also,
at certain
yes,
times.
skateboards did used to be shaped like that.
It's true. Um, but you get that image, which I know was on a bunch of stuff. And I think too, I always enjoyed the Lisa being a bad girl in the like going to the bad girl bathroom. I think I always kind of enjoyed that. But most of all, in the scene of Snake trying to like run over Bart forever lives in my brain. Like
See
it
you
just
in hell, punk.
yeah, it just forever and ever lives in my brain. So there's at least two or three things from this episode that are just like ingrained rent
Right.
free in my
It's
head
like prior to
constantly.
that and even after this, Snake seems like, yeah, he's a bad dude, but like he doesn't really want to hurt anybody. And this one, he just wanted a cold-blooded murder Bart.
Yeah, he was gonna run over a 10-year-old kid, you
Yeah.
know. He was gonna. Um but yeah, so I was gonna say three too. Like just for some so I think too after watching I think and like it's funny because sometimes I'll have a number going into this before we go through the episode, like before it starts I'll be like my number is going to be this, but then when we're sitting here talking about it I realize, oh no, maybe there's that other point I really
Yeah.
like, maybe
I
it's this
never write
other
them
point I
down
really like.
anymore. I don't write them down anymore so I don't get married to my scores.
Yeah, you get what I'm saying though, right?
Oh,
Like I'm like,
100%.
oh, like
You'll
and
have a
maybe I should,
perspective that I didn't have or vice
yeah.
versa. And yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
and like sometimes I'm like, oh, like maybe I didn't give this episode enough credit because that was actually really funny or actually
Well,
was really packed with jokes, you know?
that's what's so great about this show to me. And if anybody, even the people who listen to it, I know we're kind of late in the show and they may not be hearing this, but it, you can watch all the Simpsons that you want and you can love it and you can watch 100 times. But to me, there's nothing like once or a couple times a week getting to sit down with, for many episodes, Greg, and now you, and discussing ad nauseum. Look, we're an hour and 20 minutes into this recording nearly for a 23-minute episode of television from 30 years ago.
Yeah.
But we get, we're sitting here and we're discussing it, like this is scholarly or something where we've
Yeah.
written notes and we've put together papers for this. And we've given if no one listens, this continues because I've given myself a way to just get to escape for a little bit and talk about something I really love and get other people's perspectives. And Kristen and I will give you a little preview, guys, but we've got some guests that are going to be joining us pretty soon. It could even get guest heavy pretty soon.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I absolutely love that. Get ready for longer episodes. I'm guessing. We're
Probably because
gonna
there'll be three of us here.
that's when you and I have to get we got to get focused. We'll keep them in line.
Like do
I'm
the
as if I'm not
shut
just
up.
incredibly
Shut up.
guilty. Yeah. I'll just it's just like every time we're getting out of line, I'll just be like,
there's a swinging town I know called.
okay, we gotta get back.
I do want to say what was fun about this one though too. There's like when I was watching it, I'm like, gosh, I remember taking like aptitude tests and stuff in school,
100.
and I remember doing that. And it's I don't know. I mean, obviously we went on some tangents with some of that today, but that's what makes it fun
It
too
might be
because
a tangent-filled episode. And before we say goodbye, I will say I found a rabbit hole while we were on here. I won't dive too deep into it on air, but if you want to talk about it later. Okay, so on that Mad and Crazy, they both had that blech.
yeah,
And then there's the episode New Kids on the Blech. There's
yeah.
also a comic series through The Simpsons, one of their comic book stories. So it's a Bart line called Kiss My Blech. but there is no way. I mean, I feel like I'm missing something. I've typed in like black definition and stuff like that several times, and I just can't seem to find it. So I'm just like very curious on if this is someone's name. BLECCH. I don't know. If anybody knows something, let me know. I'm gonna probably post on Reddit about it pretty soon and get some goddamn answers about it.
See what the community can come up with.
Listen, I feel like I'm a little detail oriented, but not so much that like I would be the first to discover something on a 37-year-old television show.
Look, if you find something cool, then maybe we should add the blackness of Springfield to our list of bonus episodes we would like to record.
Shazam. I think I just told you everything I know so far, but I'll do some research.
But if there's more, I think we should definitely dive into the black. We could call it the blackness of Springfield.
Yes, exactly.
Anyways, Jesse, this has been a delight today. It's been so much fun. I think this is our longest episode now, I think. But it was really, really, if not, it's way up there by 5 minutes. But it's been so much fun doing this with you today. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Don't forget to check us out on the socials. Share it with your friends. You can email at us at that email address that Jesse repeats every episode.
Yeah, we're everything at Cromulent Show. If the email is at Gmail. So Cromulent Show, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Gmail.
There you go. And I hope you all are enjoying everything that we've done so far, because we definitely have been having fun, and there's more to come. Anything else, Jesse? Am I forgetting anything?
Nope. I'm excited about guests. Check out our socials. We're having fun posting. It's Simpsons clips, you guys. Nobody hates that. We're not like bombarding you with ads. You might see our face a tiny bit, but we'll be talking about the Simpsons, and otherwise you're just getting some fun Simpsons clips. So
yeah, we're not torturing you.
Yeah. Check us out for your daily nostalgia reminder. Listen, we're going in order. So these clips right now, you join us, you're getting like basically weekly reminders of episodes from 32 years ago. So join us and, have some fun. But otherwise, no, thank you everybody for listening. Kristen and I are glad to be back. I think once we kind of get into the flow of things here, people are going to start returning in waves.
In waves.
Yes.
It's going to be a phenomenon.
Thank you for hosting this one, Kristen. And I got nothing else.
I got nothing else.
Shh.